Use a little oil.
Greetings from Fairfield. We are Richard and Tina, and we are restoring this cool old Victorian house. We found this old Queen Anne for sale on the internet and decided to buy it. So we moved from the West Coast to the quarantine of Iowa. So join us as we explore and restore this 1896 Victorian mansion.
Greetings from Fairfield. Welcome back to our channel. Before we get into showing projects and the obligatory house tour walkthrough videos, we thought we'd do something a little different and start with a top 10 of house features. So, without further ado, starting with number 10, our cool historic plaque. The house was placed on the National Historic Registry in 1978. Legend has it that Mr. Beck sat in a chair on the front lawn directing the construction of the house. It's also rumored that he built the house as an apology to his wife for his extramarital affairs. Speaking of extramarital affairs, that brings us to number 9. These sets of doors were on the backside of the kitchen, on the backside of the house, were often referred to as the jealous husband's door. They are for the ice and for the blocks of ice and milk deliveries. They're no longer in use. They've been closed off, and the cabinetry on the other side, though original, again has been closed off and is used for food storage. They were still being in use up until about 1964 when the house was sold, but thought it would be fun to restore them, repaint them, strip the paint off the hardware, maybe use them for some outside small garden tools, maybe a hose, or we'll just open the whole thing back up and put a DoorDash sign on there so we can get deliveries again. That'd be kind of fun, but that would be another project. Number 8, water pump. So before the house got running water, you would have to come down to the basement, pump your water. We got a story with this pump when we got the house, and that is of back in the day, a little boy by the name of Frank Pearson was paid a nickel a day by Mr. Beck to pump water on his way to school. That he'd come here and pump water into up into the house. And so right above us is the kitchen. So, and then above that on the second floor directly is the bathroom. And above that on the third floor was a water tank that would flush the gravity-fed toilet below. And so Beck paid him a nickel a day. And so basically a quarter a week, which is the equivalent of almost $10 in today's money. And the museum, our local museum, recently posted a picture of the school kids of 1896 of a school just right around the corner, and sure enough, his name showed up on that roster. So we'd like to clean it up a little bit. It's a great conversation piece. Obviously, it doesn't work. The pipe's been cut and it's a little loose, so it'd be nice to maybe have a connecting pipe that we could secure up to the rafters above, so it's not all loosey-goosey. And get rid of this goofy electric outlet, which, you know, next to water can't be OSHA approved. So I believe we're in a code violation there. Number 7, an Arco Wand vacuum cleaner. Not sure exactly when it was installed, but the date that we have here is 1907. So essentially, what this unit was, it's electrical. It was when we had knob and tube wiring here, long since disconnected. You'd turn on your vacuum, and you would go up into each room. The vacuum runs through a series of pipes that run to every room on every floor, all the way to the 3rd floor. And you would turn on the vacuum cleaner and go up to each of your rooms, plug in your hose, and vacuum your room. It was probably super loud, and not sure how long it was in use. The The wand is missing, and a lot of the caps that actually seal the part that you plug in. Almost all the caps in the house are missing, with the exception of one. Number 6, a safe. So big, the only way it gets down here is before they build the house. It does not fit through any of the doors in the basement, which is all a stone foundation with some brick walls. And they would have had to have, assuming it wasn't here before they built the house, which is another theory. Haven't researched it at all, so I have no idea how far it dates back. But it would have been lowered into place before they built the house. And it's pretty cool. There's some really neat pinstriping, gold detail. And one of the features here is we do have the combinations for this, but we haven't tried any of them because, well, I don't want to accidentally lock something and have it not operate and open. But it even has a dynamite-proof chamber to put all your super valuables in there. There is nothing in there. It is empty. But another cool feature is all of these drawers have these little numbered knobs on them. And we thought it'd be fun to assign a person associated with the house to a number here. So every time we find an article in the newspaper or other historical artifacts associated with the house or the person of the house, that we would put them in their own, everybody would have their own drawer. And one thing that was really cool, shortly after we moved in, I found on eBay, of all places, a check that was written out to Mr. Beck in 1877. That's going to be kind of hard to see now, but directly above me is the foyer. And at one time, there was a money drop in the floor above us, where hidden under a rug, you could pull the rug back, drop your money down, and then you'd come down and have your own personal little, bank deposit. And one of the things we'd like to do is find a replacement cover for that and open it back up, so we can, drop mail and other things down below. Because at one point, we will turn this into an office. To our left of that safe, we have a old gas light, where you would have a light, turn on the gas, light up. With the safe and the light down here, I would assume his desk would be over here, and to light his way, or this was just lit as you entered the room, so you could see as you walked in. But kind of neat little piece. Little bonus. Number 5, hardware. On some of the hardware, we've even matched up some of the patterns in old 1890s catalogs. Number 4, radiators. We have 17 original steamed radiators throughout the house, from the first floor to the third floor, and they all work really, really well. All right, so we have 17 original radiators in the house, with another one that we found out in the carriage house that belongs in the foyer that we plan to put back at some point. That'd be another project. Anyway, these are steam radiators, and they work really well. One of the most frequently asked questions or comments that we see online is that it must cost a fortune to heat that place in the winter. And actually, they still work so well that and cost a fraction of what we were paying at our old house for a much smaller place in Oregon than we were heating this house with the steam radiators. These things are fantastic. They work so well, and they're so efficient that sometimes we even have to open up a window just because the room is just getting too hot, because they don't really have a volume control. They're either on or they are off, and they are just lovely. So we do have a few that have been painted a lot, and we plan to strip some of the paint off of these, and which will also make them run a lot more efficient. Some of the radiators have built-in benches. Which brings us to number 3, stained glass. So we have 7 original stained glass windows, one of which is a reproduction that was done about 20 years ago. But when I was digging in the yard recently, I found pieces of stained glass below that window, about 6 inches down, and suggesting that it did in fact once have a stained glass. Number 2, lights. So here in the foyer, we have one of our original Chandelier chandeliers, which basically back in the day had both gas. These are the gas turnkeys, which we're not going to turn because I don't want to break them, and electric, all worked into the same fixture. So this light is kind of unique. We actually found this in a closet. So we had 4 or 5 original lights that were just thrown in the closet, replaced with ceiling fans. So one of the first things we did was take the ceiling fans out, and with the help of some old pictures from previous owners, we can match up the original light fixtures again. This one's interesting. It's also both gas and electric. So you turn your gas on, and we've got the milk glass shades for the lights. But this one has one additional unique feature that none of the other ones have, and that is a socket. And so early electric appliances, coffee makers, toasters, etc., you would plug in your appliance to your above chandelier. And last but not least, number 1, mantles. The house has 4 chimneys and 7 fireplaces with 5 original mantles. All right, so this original mantle we just recently got back, and but that's a story for another time. So join us next week when we unravel the mystery of the missing mantle.